I told you yesterday about that open source intelligence operator that gave me some information that the US economy, your money is not safe, the banks aren't safe, your job isn't safe, the stock market's about to take a bigger than ever crash. He said that this is our direction to World War III and the Great Depression all mixed into one at the same time. Now, he called me freaking out because I didn't know, and I apologize. He hadn't given that information. It hasn't been pushed all the way along his contract line. The U.S. government asked these OSINT operators for different contract fulfillments, right? Whether that's research trends or algorithm data or information, sometimes they buy up information from your phone apps, right? Say you have a phone app and you give it access to your videos, your pictures, your audio, your search results, whatever. They buy that information and then they're sifting through it, trying to find data that the government wants to see. Well, I know that, so I don't use my phone for anything that I wouldn't want the government to see. And that's kind of how you have to operate in this fourth dimension warfare, right? Where the fourth dimension is the war for your mind, or at least the war for your information and planning everything about you. You're an NPC to the government. They want to see what you're doing. You have to sit within your certain confine. You're not allowed out of your city. You're not allowed out of your block. You better be the blacksmith. They don't care anything about you except you continue to be a good NPC. Well, he was a little bit pissed because he said that he hadn't delivered that information all the way through the contract fulfillment. I apologize for that. So, guys, if you are watching and you have information, please only give it to me after you have delivered any information under contracts. If you have a non-disclosure agreement, please, you have to tell me that. You have to be upfront because otherwise, for me, you, the people, really need to know. And so if I get information, it's sitting in my back pocket like a 7-year-old with a $5 bill at the arcade, and I'm just like, okay, all right, I gotta go spend it. I gotta get it out of here. It is burning a hole in my pocket to get you the information so that you, the people, can make actionable, intelligent decisions about the next couple of weeks and months. So we do have some big things coming up. I want to tell you about a third world country, okay? A couple. They were living in New Zealand. That's their residency. They went on a trip to a third world country last week. Then only the husband returned home after his wife was killed in a robbery attack. Do you want to know the third world country? You guessed it, the U.S. state of California. We have other countries warning their residents not to go to America. If you've ever talked to somebody from Europe or talked to somebody from some other countries that don't have the level of violent crime that we have, that your government tells you is normal or is better than ever or doesn't happen, guys, these other countries are real with their citizens. And they're like, hey, if you want to go over there, then you might get killed. You might not come back. You might not come back whole. Your mental health might be gone. Your robberies might happen. You might get stomped on a curb. Don't go into these areas. They basically tell them where to go, what to do. They better plan it with a trip itinerary. That's your country. That's America today. We're the Brazil that other countries are warning us about. So things are changing. A recent report criticized U.S. military academies like West Point for using DEI. Now, DEI is diversity, equity, or equality, and inclusion. Initiatives, they say, that were social experiments for the government and for the military. The study says that this training, dominated by different theories, distracts from what the military's core mission should be, which would be to overcome differences by cohesion. Basically, strength, force. Now, we don't live in a world where you can say, hold on, guys, I gotta change my panties so that I can go back into the trenches to keep blasting bullets at this guy who's trying to kill me. No, this is a world where the dogs eat the dogs. All right, well, that was weird, guys. My battery was full. I just put in a full battery. It's pretty new. It's within its first 3-month period, and then it was gone. Turning the camera off. So let's get back to what we were saying. The dogs eat the dogs in this world. You have to be strong. This ain't no sissy game where you can think about your feelings and see what happens. No, the future of America, the future of our world depends on strength. So here they are saying that.
Shalom. First and foremost, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rachat, Badash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayat, the Dawadah, and the house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. Alright, as you can see on here, this is full spectrum survival. And a lot of things he's saying about, how a lot of other countries are saying don't come to the U.S. because something bad might happen. Well, that's true. Look at, you've been keeping up with what's going on with all these mass shootings, robberies, stabbings, kidnappings, and all that. Other countries are telling you that America is not what it used to be. It's a shithole. Okay? And also, like you said, this is not about your feelings, about what's going to happen. No, you need to get your head out of your ass, set aside your emotions, and think about, start thinking about, what you're going to do. Instead of worrying about what's going to happen, you think about what you're going to do. Okay? Right, as of right now, America is, it's not about circling the drain anymore. It's been circling the drain. Now it's just going right down through that damn going through the drain. Okay, third world country status practically. Okay, I'm gonna get this is gonna be the book of where was it? Jeremiah. That's what I was looking for. It's gonna be Jeremiah chapter 51. Verse 8. Actually, I'm going to start at verse 7. It says, Babylon hath been a golden cup in the Lord's hand, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. So Babylon, aka America, right? Hath been a golden cup. Okay, it was that prized, you could say, it had the greatest value, it had the greatest of everything, the greatest military, the greatest assets, everything across the board. It was at the tip, it was at the top, the cream of the crop. But now look at it. Now look at it. It ain't shit. Okay? And I was watching, I just watched the recent video that came up before this one. This guy on Full Spectrum Survival, he said his name is Brad. He said that right now China is pretty much saying that America is nothing but useless. China says that America is useless. All these other countries are just laughing and mocking and scoffing us. Okay? And that's what America is. Full of useless eaters. These Gen Zers, these TikTok influencers, these effeminate boys, and all that. And not to mention, I was watching another video by one of the brothers in the truth. It was a video of a Jay getting a letter in the mail about the draft. Failure to comply with it, he gets up. He could be a $250,000 fine or 5 years in prison or both. So, this is getting really getting serious. And the nations are mad. In fact, let me get Isaiah chapter 13. The script I want to get here. Isaiah 13. Let's see. 13 verse 14. Isaiah 13 and 14, it says, And it shall be as the chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. They shall every man turn to his own people, and flee everyone into his own land. Okay? People are leaving this place. They're leaving America and going back to their own, native home. Okay? This place is not what they thought it was. Verse 15, Everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Okay? Like he said, there was a couple from New Zealand that came to America. Only the husband returned, but the wife was killed in a robbery. Okay? And he said it was in California. but America nonetheless. But you know, you whether you flee this country or you stay here, you know, if you're not of the elect, you're fucked. And now I'm going to read here, verse 16. Their children shall also shall be dashed into pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Okay. So, and you know, there was previously there was some news about a stabbing of a 9-year-old and a 9-year-old girl. I can't remember the whole story, but see, even children out here aren't safe. Even children are catching this judgment. They're catching this hell. Okay? So, that right here just goes to show you that America is not what it once was, what people thought it to be. Verse 8, this is going back to Jeremiah 51, verse 8, and it says, Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so, be she may be healed. Verse 9, we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her, and let us go every one to his own country, for her judgment reacheth unto heaven, and is lifted up even to the skies. Talking about that pride. So, you know, the fact that, you know, all her iniquities, you know, all the abominations have reached to the heavens, man. This place, America, is full of pride, iniquity, abominations. Okay, it's gone past the critical point where the Lord has to step in and put an end to this. Okay. And, you know, as I said before, these people going into, go everyone into his own country. But everybody knows that America is doomed. These other countries, they know that America is going to crumble, it's going to fall, just like all the empires before it. It's going to just fall into degeneracy, debauchery, just completely just gone. Gone. Okay? There's the mirth in this land is going to cease real soon. Okay, let's see. Let me get Daniel. Daniel chapter 2. Daniel chapter 2, starting at verse 40, and it says, the fourth kingdom shall be as strong as iron. For as much as iron breaketh in pieces and subdueth all things, and as iron that breaketh all these, shall it break in pieces and bruise. 41, and whereas thou sawest the feet and toes, part of potter's clay and part of iron, okay, that part being part of potter's clay and part iron, that's talking about, all these countries that are part of the beast system, NATO and the EU. Even they're divided amongst each other. They're not seeing eye to eye. They're not on the same page. Okay? Not anymore. They're slowly but surely just turning against each other. And why I think a lot of these countries, a lot of these other countries that are not part of the NATO or the EU, they're joining the BRICS, which is Britain, Russia, India, China, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. Okay, Venezuela's joining, a few others, Saudi Arabia. Okay, because they don't want to have nothing to do with America anymore. They're through. They're tired. Okay, and because of NATO and the EU being divided and not, being on the same page here, being in one accord, it's slowly but surely falling apart. Okay, and it says, Okay, going back forward. The kingdom shall be divided, but there shall be in it of the strength of iron, for as much as thou sawest the iron mixed with miry clay. So the strength of iron, I mean, they have that power, but like I said, they're like a glass cannon. They have the power, but they can break easily. Verse 42, and as the toes of the feet were part of iron and part of clay, so the kingdom shall be partly strong and partly broken. Okay? So, this is just telling you that, having all these different policies, ideals, beliefs, and the way they do things, it's just not working. Okay, just like Rome all over again, it's all going to fall apart. Okay, now let me get, okay, this is going to be Ezekiel 35, and starting at 1, it says, Moreover, the word of the Lord came unto me, saying, Verse 2, Son of man, set thy face against Mount Seir, and prophesy against it. And say unto it, Thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Behold, O Mount Seir, I am against thee, and I will stretch out my hand against thee, and I will make thee most desolate. Verse 4, I will lay thy cities waste, and thou shalt be desolate, and thou shalt know that I am the Lord. Verse 5, Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred, and hast shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword, in the time of their calamity, in the time that their iniquity had an end. Therefore, as I live, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, I will prepare thee unto blood, and blood shall pursue thee, with thou hast not hated blood. Since thou hast not hated blood, even blood shall pursue thee. So, bloodshed must be dealt with by bloodshed, blood for blood. So Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai is going to utterly destroy Esau's system here. Okay? Now, let's see here. Let's see. Let's go, Ezekiel 26, and this is talking about, against Tyrus, okay, which is that that one isle off the coast of the mainland over there in the east. But you can compare it spiritually to what's going on now. Ezekiel chapter 26. Verse 3, it says, Therefore thus saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, Behold, I am against thee, O Tyrus, and will cause many nations to come up against thee, as the sea causeth his waves to come up. So, against Babylon, you're going to cause as many nations to come up like those waves, causeth his waves to come up. So basically, when the time comes, America's going to get swarmed by a multitude of armies. We already got the sleeper cells here, and like I said, they're just waiting for their superiors to give them the thumbs up to start wreaking havoc. This place is done. Verse 4, And they shall destroy the walls of Tyrus, and break down her towers. I will also scrape her dust from her, and make her like the top of a rock. It shall be a place of the spreading of nets in the midst of the sea, for I have spoken, saith the Lord Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, and it shall become a spoil unto the nations. So, these foreign troops are going to literally ravish this place. They're going to ravish America, rob it for everything that it's got. Food, resources, supplies, women. This America is through. Okay, and I didn't mean for this lesson to be long, so I'm going to go ahead and let the rest of this video play out. and Lord willing, to be edifying, straight to the point. So let's continue, and then I'll close out.
The U.S. military, for a very long time now, has made changes that show weakness. What do you think Russia and China are going to do with that? We have an emerging plan, according to some outlets, for what will happen with Trump if he wins, and then what the U.S. will do with NATO. The U.S., according to these plans, will step back from being the primary provider of combat power in Europe. Is that good? Yes, that is amazing. Your tax money should not be 80%, 70%, whatever it is, of going and making the Europeans safe by military-industrial complex contracts that allows your politicians to funnel their money over there. No. Your tax money should be paying your teachers so that your kids can be taught at home. Maybe we could have less than 60 kids per teacher. Your tax money should be put to good use to stop letting fentanyl come into this country. Your tax money should stay here. So that's one of those plans. European countries would be expected to take on a much larger military role and a larger burden should something happen to America or American assets. The U.S. will keep its air power and bases at bases in Germany, England, and Turkey. Naval forces will be maintained. There will be a bulking of the infantry, armor, logistics, and artillery that would pass from American to European hands. Basically, they're telling them, you got to fend for yourself, folks. We're not sending little Johnny from Florida, although Florida man could ruin a war. I mean, don't get me wrong. We see a big war happen, you send Florida man in there, he will take them out. He'll swim through the trenches on the back of a crocodile with the American flag swinging in the wind behind him and take out the Russians single-handed. Or he'll try to eat someone's face, I don't know. Countries not meeting the 2% GDP defense spending target may not receive full U.S. security guarantees. Basically calling to account, calling to action all that has been wrong recently. Could you say this is bad? No. Is it used politically? Probably. Negotiations with Putin will continue. There will be a commitment that no further NATO expansion will take place. There will be a push for a quick end to the Ukrainian war. They will pressure Ukraine to cede some territory. Now, guys, the contracts and agreements that the current administration has made with Ukraine will not let that happen idly. It will not come easily. And so there will be some funny business here. Remember the old, back in the days where they used to say, well, like Cayman Island accounts, right? Or they used to say offshore accounts, as if you just suddenly could go online and go type in offshore account, and suddenly you don't have to pay taxes anymore. There's always a lot more to that than meets the eye, just like the Transformers. And so when you see what actually happened with the corruption that we sent your hundreds of billions of dollars or whatever over to Ukraine, over to Europe, through NATO, funneling it all over, giving it to defense contracts, giving it to this and that, setting up arms depots and shell depots and all of this that was happening, they're taking your money and they're like, thanks for all your taxes, and they're giving it to Ukraine, but they only give a sprinkle, and they put their best right here like a stripper in a strip club. They're just shoving it in wherever and happy for it. So they're going to take some of that away. The U.S. will remain in NATO if European countries play fair and increase their contributions. They say there's going to be a shift of U.S. military forces and a focus toward countering China. Europeans will be forced to take the lead in Europe. Now, we keep hearing and seeing, China's the next war, China's the next war. And let me tell you, am I more afraid of China than Russia as far as America's stance in the world goes? Hell yes. Why am I more afraid of China than Russia? Because in Russia, they won't have children work for $1 a day or nothing because their parents told them they had to make your iPhones. They won't have child labor and slave labor. And in Russia, they have some disagreement with the generalization of being able to put an entire population of people in prison camps. In China, they have no such concerns. And so when you're fighting an enemy that has that kind of ruthlessness, and the society of that enemy, which is bigger than America's society, many, many times over, will literally, you guys remember the zombie movies, right? Let me give you one instance in particular. World War Z, I think it was. And they had that giant like fence built up, right? And the zombies would just, they would go and get shot, and the dead bodies would allow the next ones to build a platform. And the dead bodies of there would build the steps, and they would just keep getting higher and higher. Those are Chinese people in the next war. They will run and give their life to die so that another Chinese guy can stand on his back, and then another one on his back to get over the fence to rip your kid's friggin' ears out. That's the future of war. And so when Trump and all these other guys say that China is the bad guy in the future, I don't think China's the bad guy. I think that if you do go to war with China, you're going to be up against a country full of countrymen that don't care about what they lose to get the end met. Now in America, we're too worried about that, what's going on, what color of panties match with my camo suit today. That's what we're worried about here. In China, they're worried about completely different things. They have openly, the president of China has openly berated the American military, saying that the American military has become something useless. Russia laughs at our inclusion. All of these other nations around our world that are growing, look at what BRICS did with their SWIFT.
Well, it was this video, not the last one, but you heard him. China sees America as useless. Russia's laughing at us. One more needs to be said.
Party recently. Look at what they're doing. They're buying all their gold while selling you paper promises. This world is over as far as you knew it. Tiat Waki, the end of the world as I knew it. It's over. So what we have to do is find a way, the best way. I have to think about my family, my kids, my future. What's the best way that I can navigate what comes next? A lot of times that comes with just thinking like our great-grandparents did, right? There's going to be a world of hurt coming. There's going to be some hard times coming. But are you going to need community to pull it through? Yes. Are you going to need strong men and women to pull it through? Yes. Are you going to need to keep going and have faith? Yes. So you're going to have to come to terms that the world as you knew it, over, done. The world that's coming at you, you have two choices. Slap, get slapped. Win, lose. This isn't no everybody gets a trophy world. And so put yourself in whatever position you can to make it work for you. Eat frugally, shop frugally, grow your food, learn how to defend yourself. You might be, the things you might learn today in first aid or defending yourself or doing any of these things might be the things that save lives or help you become part of a group tomorrow. Somebody might, an electrician out there, might need somebody who knows how to throw lead down range. A plumber might need somebody who knows how to patch up a wound. A guy who knows how to patch up a wound might need somebody to hook his solar up. You need community, and you have to start building it. Please, get ready. Thank you guys for being here with us. Full Spectrum Survival, only on YouTube from...
And with that, I'd like to give all honor, glory, and praise unto Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Yachad, Yadash. Double honors and respect to the elders and to the apostles, the great millstone. Peace and blessing to all Akim that are preaching and teaching this word with 100% truth and sincerity. And unto the men, women, and children that are listening and learning. And unto the Bayat, the Daudah, the elect house of David that is scattered abroad. I give you my utmost and sincere salutations. See you in the next lesson, Lord willing. Kwam Yasharala, Wa Abad Babal, Shalom, Barakatam.